Hey everyone, it's Jim Cohn. My semester is officially over, and I am consuming too many cookies and too much beer. And I know it isn't hip to say so, but I like Christmas carols. I do. And that's all I wanted to say about that. Folks, episode 8 of Circle of Willis is almost here, and when it arrives, I'll be talking with Simine Vazire about measuring personality and the recommendations of the movement to improve replication in science generally and psychology in particular. But for now, here's a quick preview. Do you think one of the effects of the movement to increase the repeatability of our science is expanding our data analytic options?
I think that's one of the big debates, right? So I think some people perceive the movement as trying to restrict everybody into this one mold of like, we have to think of things a certain way and emphasize replicability over everything else and so on. But I don't know. I mean, it's an empirical question. It'll be interesting to look at the meta-science on whether the kinds of articles that are being published, whether there's a broader range, whether there's more variance in the types of articles being published post-movement compared to pre. My subjective anecdotal impression is, I think we're seeing more papers with mixed results, with null results, things like that wasn't possible before. More papers that don't use null hypothesis significance testing at all. Papers that are more explicitly exploratory or descriptive.
Yeah.
So I think it is expanding the kinds of papers people are willing to find. I think they're the papers that people had inside of them but didn't think they could get published, and now they're willing to try, and more reviewers and editors are willing to accept papers that don't fit the old mold. Yeah, maybe that's too idealistic, but
well, I mean, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. I mean, I've always been Lee Seacrest, my old methods mentor. Yeah. So my minor was in methodology and measurement, with an emphasis on measurement, and I'm still sort of obsessed with reliability and these kinds of things. My own feeling is our measures is the root of maybe the root of our problem. Yeah. But I mean, that's a whole other. I don't want to hijack the conversation in that direction. But he used to call me a contrarian. It used to drive him crazy because every time he would come out with some recommendation methodologically, it's true. I kind of suddenly wanted to do the opposite.
Yeah, I think that's.
And I think there's some heuristic value in that in terms of moving things forward, because you can't violate the principles.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think a lot of successful academics have that personality trait.
It's weird. I don't know what that's about. So I want to do like N of 1 studies all the time.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think expanding the range of things that we consider scientific contributions would be a great outcome if that was one of the side effects of this movement.
So speaking of the movement, you're you're like a superhero. Can I say that? I can say that. You've had tequila already. You're one of the like key figures. Almost, I would say. I mean, I'm going to say literally a kind of a political figure in all of this. I mean, you're president of SIPS, the Society for the Improvement of Psychological Science, right? I got it. Uh-huh. Yeah. So you're the president right now.
Chair of the executive committee, whatever.
Chair of the executive
so
committee.
It rotates. The executive committee selects a new chair every year. So I'm the chair this year, and then it'll be someone else next year. Yeah,
well, to me, that's the president. Okay. And you probably can command the armed forces as well, right. Whoever those people are. But I've got this list here. Like you're editor-in-chief of SPPS, Social Psychological and Personality Science. Okay, sorry. I can't.
You got the acronym right, which is already better than a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah. Well, SPSS, SPSP, SPPS.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to keep them straight.
You've got. You're doing. I can't remember exactly what your role is with Collabra.
Senior editor.
Senior editor with Collabra. I don't know what. Okay. You're current chair of the executive committee. You're president of SIPS. You've now got this podcast, The Black Goat. Yeah. Which you've been doing now for what, a year?
No, just since February.
Just since February? Yeah. Jeez, you guys move fast. You guys are efficient and organized.
We're not perfectionists, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, that's good. And you run a blog.
Once in a while.
And you're at least you used to be. I mean, I don't know. You're pretty active on social media and things. I mean, I don't know because, this is one of the things maybe we'll touch on about, I would say last March or February even. I just bugged out.
Yeah.
I pulled the chute and bugged out. I don't interact with any of those groups anymore because I couldn't. There was one too many nights of lost sleep worrying about whether tone was a thing, or whether I was completely crazy, or what.
It's a really interesting thing about trying to figure out like when should you try to have thicker skin versus when should you just disconnect and be like, I don't have thick enough skin for this. I'm just gonna like show myself out, because sometimes I worry about like. So when I started a blog, I gave myself permission to not respond to comments if I don't want to. I don't have to engage with every critic or whatever. Otherwise, I would never have started the blog. Not because there are that many responses, but just in my mind, I imagined what if this happens and this happens. And I was like, okay, well, just because I put my blog up doesn't mean I have to engage with every response to it or whatever. But then that's an easy way to just avoid negative feedback or criticism. So I don't want to be that person either.
Thank God for that. I don't want criticism.
But finding that balance, right? Like I want to leave myself open to criticism and I want to listen to it. But then when I feel like the criticism is in bad faith or other shit is going on in my life and I don't have the mental resources or whatever to deal with it, I want to give myself permission not to. But I don't know how that looks if people think I'm running away or, like people don't, it's, you don't always, it's hard. It's hard.
Right.
People don't know. I don't know if people take into account the fact that there's a human being behind this. And so sometimes I'm not going to have thick enough skin to deal with it. Or sometimes there's other stuff going on in my life that's going to make it harder to deal with it. But if I use that as an excuse not to engage at all, then I would just never engage. So in my mind, I gave myself permission to say, okay, look, this might look bad and it might sometimes look like I'm a coward, but I'm going to let myself put some stuff out there and then walk away and let the,
let
chips
the world
fall where they may
go crazy. Okay, that's enough of that. Look for episode 8 for the rest of my conversation with the thoughtful and generous Simine Vazire. And thanks again to my friend Hal Movius for composing and performing this little tune we got here that's playing here in the background. Thank you, Hallam. See you soon.